Well, it's okay. Right, exactly. The gesture helps.
Great job there. You're very busy. Oh, hello.
I guess that you use it's mainly used in the country.
I really have no idea.
Well, how about a credit card? Are they all accepting the credit card there?
How would I know?
Well, you are a travel agent, aren't you? Aren't you? Aren't you?
What? This is a hair salon. You have the room number.
Great, you're natural. Yeah, great, very nice to know.
And is English spoken over?
How are we doing? So, let's hear what the sound. Okay, but you can't read. The whole point is that. Right. Right, it's okay. Look at it for a minute. Look at the sentence. Try to think of the sentence as a full line. And then cover it. Try to put more emphasis because these are imperatives, right? So try not to. Try not to get too excited. That's all right. I noticed when I asked one of you to do it, interestingly enough, is that even though I told everyone, I said, okay, don't talk, don't read like this, and I caught a lot of people actually reading. It's so tempting to do, it feels so natural to and then read, right? But of course, the whole point of this exercise is that you don't want to read. You want to force yourself to actually say it and allow it to be said without relying on a book or a paper or anything like that. I know that almost all the students I've had in Taiwan, they read very, very well. So obviously this is a very natural thing and everyone feels very confident doing it that way. But when you take away the book, people get very, very nervous, right? So I want you to try and really concentrate on forcing yourself not to look. The next thing that I wanted to add to this, because actually we're doing very well for time today. So the next thing I wanted to add to this is this, and a lot of you already started doing this. When you're dealing with the dialogue, it's also a very good chance for you to bring out the performer in the student. Now, in order to do this, you want to get them away from a kind of choppy, word-by-word kind of reading. Okay? Now, one of the things that I've suggested to students, which has been pretty helpful, and hopefully it might serve you well as well, is to actually get people to say lines like they're breathing. Okay? That sounds funny, doesn't it? Okay, but it's not really. When you come up with the very first line, what you will sometimes hear people say is something like this: can I borrow your phone to call my boss? Now, of course, that's very clear. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's a certain lack of flow, right? And again, we're talking about usage in terms of sounding more natural, right? This is actually something that students can do very well as soon as they figure out what they're trying to do. What I've often suggested is that you think about the line with breathing. In other words, take a deep breath and then force yourself to say the line in one breath. Really? So you breathe in. Can I borrow your phone to call my boss? Now, that act of doing it with that kind of breathing is going to force you to make the whole line continuous. If you try to go, can I borrow your phone to call? You're going to really hurt your lungs. It's very painful to try and actually hold the breath in and break it up in that particular way. It actually produces the sort of tone that rides through the entire sentence. So you get the joining. Can I borrow your phone to call my boss? And now suddenly you've got all the linkage that's there. Trying to teach someone how to do that is really, really hard to do. You can't break it up and say it should sound like this. So this technique that I came across actually in a book some time ago that I read a long time ago, breathing, it was actually recommended as for actors, actually, when they were learning their lines, to associate the line and the meaning with breath. It apparently works very well for them when they're actually trying to learn lines from new plays. And I incorporated this in some of my conversation classes and found that it was actually a very successful way when dealing with dialogues. Now, I would like to actually hear a couple of people do it and use you as guinea pigs for the stage. So, who would like to volunteer? Knowing that you are all teachers and so confident talking in front of large groups of people, I'm sure I'll have no shortage of volunteers. Well, you sir, I'm sorry, I don't know your name, the black shirt.
Me?
Yes,
Daniel.
would you mind coming down and you can
Sure.
choose your partner, whichever
Who wants to be my
you
partner?
like that. Christine? Great.
Okay.
So, yeah, you're going to do the dialogue. Just as you do.
Memorize.
No, you don't need to memorize, but you do need to do the same thing we did before. Oh, you need a copy? Oh, you don't. Great. Same what we did before, but again, the same thing with not reading anything. Now, what I would like to do here is this. As I mentioned to you, you won't have a lot of time when you're dealing with dialogues. Practicing in pairs is absolutely the best way to make good use of the time, the limited time that you actually have. But it's always good to have a couple of performances, and it's fun. Right? Now, we get them up here. We're going to pick another group from this side over here as well. This is a great opportunity for me to